Alright, sorry about that. Had to check and make sure I'd taken my medicine for tonight. I'm a kidney transplant patient, so um, 9 o'clock can come up pretty quick. So just making sure I took it and then turned off alarms and everything. Also made sure the fan was on so I didn't burn up in my office. Alright, so we're looking at Rise Again, a sci fi novel by Jay Wilburn. I'm at the 25,000 word mark. We're going to begin with chapter. Am I on chapter 12 now? I believe I am. Racing on down to chapter 12. So we are in a world that they have been in for a little bit, and one of our characters has passed out, and we're going to deal with that here in just a moment. All right. You know what? I want to pull something from here and make it. Enough of this chatter. Everyone stared up at me, and I realized I had spoken aloud for the first time. Alright. Gonna pull a section and do it as the rewrite it as from another character's perspective. So I pulled that, and now we'll get into it. But first, we'll start here. I kept feeling like I was floating in and out of my body. I was in control, as much in control as a person eating takeout Italian with his kidnappers could be said to be in control. At moments, I allowed myself to believe what Trey was saying about them being from other worlds. They were all so committed to what I suppose I should have thought of as what I should have thought of as a shared delusion. I was starting to share it too. Other moments, I watched myself from outside my body, asking honest questions about Trey's scrawled notebook that in any other situation I would have recognized as the ravings of a madman. Okay, let me do something else here. Stockholm Syndrome. I hadn't put much use to my psychology degree since leaving school. My parents, back when I still spoke to them, reminded me of that often. I really couldn't afford to pay for 4 people's takeout, but here we were. Okay, now we're at a section where I borrowed from the previous chapter and we're going to retell it from Rick's perspective. Okay, enough of this chatter. Patrick said, I was thankful that he decided to bring us back to reality. For that one instant, I was relieved. Then I looked into his cloudy, mad eyes as he continued. What message did you send out, and when are the forces coming to collect us? Rick Helms. I shook my head and looked at the other 2. I wanted to believe I had friends here. Someone needed to be on my side. I'd done nothing wrong. I'd done nothing to put myself in this position. I knew I hadn't, because I kept running the day through my head any time there was a lull in the conversation. No matter how many times it replayed in my head, I always ended up with a gun to the back of my head, and strange kidnappers took me to my home to hold me hostage and talk about how great garlic knots were, like they'd never had them. Don't look at them for help. You look at me. Patrick slurred his words. I'd had no alcohol left in my house. I was tempted to order that too when I got the food, but I was already tapped. He must have had his own stash on him somewhere. Probably some type of drug. Now, he seemed more dangerous than when he had the gun on me. How quick could he pull it? Would I even know I had died? Alright. I just ordered food, Patrick. I swear. You watched me do it. I was telling the truth, but it sounded like a lie in my own ears. All right. Patrick wavered on his feet. Okay. I don't know what I saw. If I were you, I would have messaged for help. So when are they coming? No one's coming, I whispered. How do you convince someone of the truth when nothing makes sense anymore, and they might rather kill you than bother to believe you? All right. Aveline dropped something on her plate, and my whole body jolted at the noise. I didn't dare cut my eyes. I didn't dare cut my eyes away from Patrick because I thought it would make him even angrier. I felt like I was staring down a wild animal. She said, Patrick, you need to calm down. Don't tell me what. I thought he was done. It even crossed my mind that he'd forgotten what he was mad about. No such luck. Don't tell. What I need is the truth, so answer the question, Rick Helms. I didn't call anyone, I just didn't. Why not? That was one hell of a question. That was my chance, wasn't it? I just couldn't bring myself to believe they didn't know how a cell phone worked. I was sure it was all a ruse. I don't know if I spelled that right, but we'll find out. I was sure it was all a ruse, even if they believed it on one level. There was a part of them, something connected to survival instinct, that would recognize if I tried to send out a message that I was in trouble. They'd kill me for it. Now I was going to die because I didn't take my chance. Sort of fitting for my life. I normally appreciate irony. The thought entered my head as a solid thing instead of the out of body drifting I'd been going in and out of up to that point. This was concrete. It was a decision to truly consider what was real and what wasn't. Once it planted itself solid in my head, I worried I'd never be able to remove its bulk from my mind again. They may be exactly who they say they are. No, let's stop there. All right. So we plant the idea in his head that they're really who they say they are. Okay. Oh. I whispered an answer to Patrick's question. Because I'm scared of you. That was the truth too, but not all of it. You look pale, Patrick. Are you well? Evelyn. Okay, Evelyn. Evelyn moved to his side. His head bowed almost, bowed to almost touch the back of his chair, but not quite. His weight shifted far forward and then away. Sorry, I feel like I'm about to sneeze. Oh. Alright, the weight. Alright, the chair felt the chair would have tipped over if Trey hadn't grabbed it. Run for the door, I thought. Just do it now, or you'll never get another chance. All right. Mumbled, and I wouldn't swear to anything I thought I heard. Oh, gosh. I should just go ahead and sneeze. That'd be a lot easier. He mumbled, and I wouldn't swear to anything I thought I heard him say. Random words. Maybe I heard I love you there at some point. Of course, people think they hear dogs and cats saying that too. She put her hand to Patrick's forehead and said, "He's burning up." He's burning up. I knew we shouldn't have traveled again until he was over the infection. She looked to Trey like she was accusing him of something. He let go of the chair, but took hold of Patrick's side with both hands, both arms. As the jacket pulled away, as the jacket pulled away, his shirt was drenched in large patches of sweat that had merged together. All right. There was a musty smell, like passing through a gym, or there was a musty smell like passing through a gym. There was a musty smell like passing through a gym, or there was a musty smell like passing through a gym, or walking by someone after a run. Infection. She said infection. I was not only taking their interdimensional travel at face value. I was taking their back story about the Walmart and running from a greeter who told them to wear a mask. As I was taking their backstory about, let me cheat with a few commas here, mask as the truth too. Would that cause people to kidnap someone in order to escape? All right. Would that cause some people to kidnap someone in order to escape? I guess if they just fell into our world. Maybe also if they were sick and trying to get away for some reason. My brain tried to assure me that didn't add up either. It was the equal but opposite bad conclusion of assuming they were really travelers from other Earths. What infection? I stood up from my chair. Oh shoot, I don't mean to do that. Stood up from my chair and backed into the wall with the table between me and them. I need to move that sentence. Control. Copy. All right. Control V. We'll put it there. Okay. Then she does all that. Alright, so then we'll remove this. Now we're back to there, alright? They still hadn't answered me. Does he have COVID? Patrick gripped the back of the chair as the other two struggled to keep him from collapsing, holding onto the chair. Holding onto the chair was making that even harder. Alright. Making that even harder. Patrick, she said, Patrick, do you hear me? She tried to lift his chin, but then he almost fell on her. I doubted he could hear her anymore. Let's get him to the couch. Let's get him to the couch. Trey grunted as he bore Patrick's weight. Trey finally pried Patrick's hand away from the chair, but then they lost him. He fell back hard and thumped his head against the bottom of the wall so hard that I was shocked not to see broken drywall, blood, or both. They hauled him bodily from my dining room dragging him more than carrying him. Don't need the extra "the" there. Alright. Okay. I searched the parts of my apartment. Oh, he's in a townhouse. Of my townhouse that I could see with my ass against that wall. Searched the parts of my townhouse that I could see with my ass against the wall and could not find my mask anywhere. Where had I left it? Keep going, Evelyn said. I'm trying. Trey grunted back. I have a guest room at the end of the hall. There's a bed in there. Don't think we'll make it that far. I don't think we'll make it that far. I don't think we'll make it far, Trey said. They rolled him up onto the couch under the front window. They rolled him up onto the couch under the front window. They rolled him up onto the couch under the front window. One of his legs swept a bunch of magazines and a scented candle I'd never lit off onto the carpet between the couch and the coffee table. I needed to cancel those subscriptions before I ran out of money for food. Evelyn pulled up his pant leg. There was a scar, maybe a few scars. They stood out white and jagged from the bright red of his skin. The flesh looked swollen above the top of his sock. It's subdural infection, she said. You looked at his leg before we jumped last time, Trey said. It wasn't like this then, was it? It's like this now. She poked the hot skin, leaving a ghost of fingerprints that faded slowly to angry red again. He has probably already slipped into immunoshock. What does that mean? Trey asked. It's bad. She said. It's what I feared. What does it mean? I stepped away from the wall and my hand dropped to my pocket where I found the shape of my phone through the fabric. Okay. I stepped away from the wall and my hand dropped to my pocket where I found the shape of my phone through the fabric. Now was my chance to do what Patrick expected me to have done. I should have run, but they were between me and the door, even if they were distracted. But I could text for help. I tried to run through my list of friends who might be able to help. The list got more and more depressing as I ran through. I'd felt alone many times, but this moment was pretty intense. I felt alone many times, but this moment was pretty intense. What does that mean? Okay. Evelyn said his immune system has been overactivated. Everything is being attacked at once. There will be inflammation. Organs will start to take damage and eventually fail. Immunoshock. Sepsis, I said. They both looked up at me like they'd forgotten I was there. Sepsis, I said. They both looked up at me like they'd forgotten I was there. Good thing I reminded them. Trey said he's gone septic. Evelyn shrugged said, whatever you call it, that's what's happening. All right. What do we do? Trey asked. He needs to go to a sanatorium with a trauma ward. Trey looked to me. A hospital with an emergency room. I took out my phone and waved the dark screen where they could see. I can call for an ambulance. Where will it take him? She asked. I took a deep breath and said, I don't know. With the pandemic, are the hospitals full of sick people? Trey asked. I stared at him, but didn't know what to say. He shook his head. I know hospitals are full of sick people all the time. I mean, is it full of people dying from this plague? I said, I know what you meant. I was just trying to think. I heard news reports that hospitals had run out of beds in some of the bigger cities. Central Campbell is the biggest one close by, and I heard they were turning away patients to if I call 911 and he is really septic, then they have to take him. I don't know where though. Trey stood up straight and leaned back. Leaned away until his back popped 3 times. He took another deep breath and said, "Can we wait?" Can we wait until the, what would he call it? Can we wait until the, what would he call the technology under his skin? I haven't even named this stuff yet. Can we wait until the system is recharged? We can jump to a world not in the middle of a plague. Or we jump to a world that has no people or no doctors or none of the mainline medicines required to fight this infection, she said. Or we end up in another world where the air is poisoned and we all die. Trey felt around Patrick's pockets. He moaned. Patrick moaned and stirred on the couch. Trey felt around Patrick's pockets. Patrick moaned and stirred on the couch. Trey felt around Patrick's pockets. Patrick moaned and stirred on the couch, but did not wake up. I was sure the gun was coming out and my life was going to find a way to get worse. I wonder if you can hear that rain over the microphone. It's pretty loud in here. I was sure the gun was coming out and my life was going to find a way to get worse. Alright. He pulled out a clear bottle of green pills. The bottle looked like it was made of glass. Can these hold off the infection? Okay, can these cure the infection? Maybe we can wake him up enough and have him take more than one at a time. Not where the infection is, she said, and not how far along it is. He needs mainline medicine now, or he will die. What does she mean by mainline medicine? I asked. Trey shook his head. I think she means IV antibiotics. Yeah, you'll need a hospital for that. Yeah, you'll need a hospital for that. Let's call a hospital. Let's call a conveyance for the hospital. Then, she said, he could catch this world's plague and die from that before he dies from this. Trey said, it can't be much longer before I recharge. We might risk a jump. It could be our best chance. If we wait a day or even two, she said, it could be too late. Even if we ended up in a friendly world with the right medicines. We have to decide right now if we care whether he lives or dies. I do, Trey. I care if we just let him die. You can jump on once you recharge and leave us here to fend for ourselves, if that's what you decide. Trey looked down into Patrick's face and said, I would never do that. Rick, is there any medical facility that can help the way he needs to be helped? Rick, is there any medical facility that can help the way he needs to be helped that won't I'm always paranoid about rain dripping in here because I used to have leaks in here before we repaired the roof. But if leaves pile up, water can always back up, and I haven't done a good job of clearing off the roof of leaves. We live in a wooded area, and so there's always leaves on the roof. And again, I'm terrible at moving them off. All right, I would never do that, Rick. I would never do that. Rick, is there any medical facility that can help the way he needs help to be helped that won't be full of people with the plague? Okay, what am I trying to say? I rolled my phone around in my hand. I said I can call the information desks to see where they are in terms of capacity. That might take a little time. Evelyn shifted on her feet and gave a pained sigh. That broke my heart a little, even after everything that had happened today. We can get him into the car. We can get him into the car, I said, and drive to one after the other until we find one that works. I can Google the hospitals as we go. We'd know where he ended up then. I'm staying with him wherever he goes, she said. That broke my heart a little more. They won't let you. She glared at me like I was making up the rule. I held up both hands, still holding my phone without calling for help for myself or the guy who put a gun on me. Alright, what does he say? Listen, that's how it works with COVID now. It can't be helped. Only the patients go in. They'll take care of him. They won't hurt him. They won't arrest him. They'll, if he doesn't have COVID, they won't arrest him. If he doesn't have COVID, they'll put him in a wing with other patients who are clear to wing. She looked at Trey. Ward, he said. She nodded. It'll have to do. Help me get him up. Find the masks. Find the masks you wore before, I said. Find the mask you wore before, I said. His too. And we need to get a straight story that we can stick to. One that will work when he wakes up and starts babbling about other worlds. Aveline and Trey exchanged a look. "Thank you," she said. "I'm sorry how this all started. We're not like that. And Patrick shouldn't have threatened you. We've been to worlds where should not have threatened you." Let me get Trey in on it too. Trey said, "We've been to worlds where breaking a small law comes with heavy consequences. If they took us captive and separated us, there might be no leaving together again." "Will you two do me a favor?" I asked. "What is it? What is it?" "Anything," she said. "You need to take the gun off him before we get to a hospital, or he might be in trouble," I said, as Trey dug at the pocket. No, I don't want the quotation mark there. Alright, we're almost done with this chapter. As Trey dug at the pocket, I added, "And the favor is that I'd like you just to get rid of it. I'll help you. I won't turn you in for kidnapping. You don't need the gun to get my help now." Trey nodded and took the weapon from Patrick's pocket. "Sorry," he said. "That's okay." Alright. So next will be chapter 13. Let me run up and grab the name of this world again, because we are still in the same place. Alright. Story's moving along. We just haven't jumped worlds again, which Control copy. That is not what I wanted. Alright. Oh, I did it again. I forgot to switch to the view of the story. Control B. Alright. Oh, what nonsense. Alright. V. I can't get it out of this form. It's driving me nuts. Okay. Alright, I'm going to update my Nano now. I can't believe I just stayed in this one view because I could have showed you the story the whole time. I've done that one other day too. I need to just stop doing this late at night is what it amounts to. Alright, so updating my NaNoWriMo. I am at... Where am I at? I'm at 27. I didn't have it on side-to-side view. I've clicked something and I gotta get it back the way I want. So I want vertical view, but do I need to zoom? Alright, let me... Okay, that's a little too much. Zoom. I think I'd do 150. Now this is captivating television here. Alright, okay. That's a little bigger than I normally do, I think. Zoom, let me do 140. That's a little better. That's a little closer to how I normally keep it. Alright. So 27666. Oh, that's great. My goal today was 27.5, but I am 27.666. Alright. I am kind of happy. I forgot to switch views to show my screen once again, so a little bit happy, not terribly happy, but I've done pretty well. 27,666.